Hello and welcome back to a Von Bites video. I know it's been months. Once again, I got burnt out, and I don't know what I'm doing ever, but whatever. I have a new renowned thought about the videos, so we're gonna keep trying until I get a good amount of confidence and a good amount of a habit going. But anyway, hello, hi. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday. Sorry, what? Had a good holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas. My birthday just passed yesterday as I'm recording this. So now I'm officially 26, and I'll be turning 26 in the year 20, or rather, I'll be 26 in the year 26, whatever. Cheesiness aside. But I have a different type of video to share with you guys today because normally we do our videos and then I voice over them. But instead, you're going to get an impromptu face reveal that you've already seen if you're on my socials at all or in the Discord. But my best friend, I love her so much, she took me out to tuft a rug. So this is, for those of you who've seen this, basically you make your own rugs. That's a simplified version. But I've always seen, like on YouTube or whatever, when I go down rabbit holes of creative videos, a couple years ago, I saw, if I remember his video, I'll post it. I think it's by like Smooshed XD or something. He made his own rug, and it was so freaking cool. And now, like every now and then I'll remember that exists, and I find it like watching a video to be really satisfying. But I've always wanted to do it. But obviously, like, based on what I was looking at, it would require buying all the supplies and everything and just going for it. And obviously at any point so far, I haven't had the time to, for one, save the money for it, but to set up like a little station for it. Because I currently live with people. So it was like something I kept in the back of my mind of like, I'll do this hobby one day when I remember. But she remembered that I always said I wanted to do it. So she found a place near us that they teach you how to tuft a rug, and then you pay, you know, however much money you want to pay, like for whatever size you wanted. You pay for that, and then you tuft your own rug. You can pick basically whatever design you want. And so we did that. And by we, I mean me, and she watched and kind of helped. But it was really sweet of her to do. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk about like my process of doing it and then my final thoughts at the end, because I have thoughts that I'm very excited about. And I do have some footage, I guess. Again, this was very different for us to do, like recording IRL footage and compilating it together. But it was actually her idea before it was mine. And I was like, you know what, sure, let's just do it. So unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of the trainers teaching us how to do it. I didn't think we were going to record a video, but I can at least talk about what piece I chose. Because this was a surprise to me, so I didn't have a design prepped for this. But I decided to do my bat version of myself. I drew it like 2 or 3 months ago, and I figured it would be simple enough, but like it was iconic enough for me that I was like, this is cute. I could have this as a rug. And I'll put on a screen right here. But yeah, I had this done, not the full piece. I just did the bottom. We did some cropping. And at first, the size that my best friend bought for me was the smallest version, but I wanted to actually upgrade it to be the regular or medium, because I wanted to fit more in there as far as detail. So I just paid the difference and then I upgraded it for that. And I'm glad I did, because I was able to get in way more than I would have otherwise. So we had a design picked out, and then they have a projector, and I don't have footage of this either, but they project the image that you picked onto the Mung's cloth, which is essentially the backing, basically what the yarn gets punched into. It is kind of, I guess it's woven-ish, I'm not too sure, but basically that's how I would describe it. And I'll talk about more about the gun later, but it's put on this frame. I have a little bit of a video of like showing the frame before the cloth is in there, so I'll put that here. And I'll just put clips of like the building, because I'll do it on a tangent. When you walk in, it's really, really cute. It had a bunch of the yarn colors on the wall, and then they had, so it's like a combo thing. So one side of the studio was like you can do canvas paintings, and then they had dipping of like these bears. I guess it's their design or something. You can dip it whatever colors you want. Or you can do deco like phone cases or bracelets or whatever. It was just a random assortment of things. But then in the back, that's where like the rug stuff is. So yeah, I'll put footage here of that. But yeah, it was a cute studio. And so, and on the wall it has like the sizes and the prices, and then the other various stuff that they do as well. Anyway, yeah, so they have these frames of different sizes, small, regular, and then large. And basically it's like 2x4s on a frame, and it has, I believe, nails sticking out of it, so then you can have the monk's cloth like taut on there, like stretched basically to its capacity. That way you can, when you're punching a needle in, you know, it's not like flimsy, you know, not moving on you. And then it's on like a table. And there was a few all around, and there were other people also tufting, like some kids too, which you would, I mean, I would argue like you being an adult doing this makes it easier because you like understand, like you'll understand it faster, and like the gun is actually very heavy, and I'll explain that towards the end of my final thoughts. But yeah, there's some kids doing some, but it was mostly like adults. There was like a couple doing it, you know, whatever. And so yeah, and then there's at the beginning of one of these clips, it shows like this, one of the monk's cloth on the frame has a bunch of blue circles and stuff. That is where they were teaching us how to do it. And basically all of us did like a couple straight lines, and then we attempted to do a circle, which was nice. That way you got a feel for how the gun works, how much pressure you need to push down, which I'll talk about more, but there's a lot of pressure you have to put on the monk's cloth in order to make it work. And then after you finish doing the little demo with the trainee or whatever, there's a little bit of a line, like, because they have to set up each station essentially. So when you go in, it's just a bunch of frames, but then depending on what size you pick, then they set up yours. They get on the projector, they draw, there's a artist there that draws out your design via projector, and then once they have room, then they'll set up your gun, which they taught us how to do that, threading the yarn in there, and then you're good to go. Of course, they had like little rules set in place. You can only get one yarn color at a time, which was fine, but also they gave us a little tip that to start with like your outline first, obviously. So in my case, I used black for my outline. So you do that first, and you kind of just, from there, it's a lot easier to go in and pick what colors you want to use based on whatever you decide. I kind of did it based on how much of that color I would need. So I started with the black, and I'll put like, again, the footage that we have of that. Started with black for the outlines of my bat, and then I think I went in with trying to remember, I think it was the base of the, like the base color of the bat, which was like the purple blue color. Unfortunately they didn't have a darker color like that I could use for the hair, so I'd use the same color for my hair as the body, which the color that they had for the hair, I mean for the body, I did not like expect them to have, but it was like the perfect color, so that was cool. I kind of want to make it a video, I don't know why. Oh, we say shorts, that's why. But yeah, so I did that, and then I did like the eyes, you know, white I didn't use that much in general, so I used that, and then the red and the, you know, so most of the colors were a pretty good match, thankfully. That was nice. And as you're doing it, the pressure, like, I think I underestimated how much pressure I actually needed, because when I started doing it, like the needle would like not really get stuck, but like it wouldn't puncture all the way through or whatever. And my friend would remind me, like, make sure to use a lot of pressure. And yeah, you need to press in there. But since it's so taut on the frame, you pushing in is good. Like, that's why. To make sure really it gets in and then lets go, and it's in place. But other than that, like as far as the process of how to do things, the gun is very intuitive. Basically it has these guidelines and the needle. You can turn it and it will kind of go the direction it's pointing automatically. You guide it of course, but like overall it's moving itself a little bit. So that was pretty nice. Straight lines are pretty easy. Whether or not they're actually straight, that's a little bit hard. But like as far as guiding it, it's pretty easy. Rounded edges, they told us to press and turn as we went, so we don't just hold it down. But as I was doing it, I got used to it and I was able to pretty much hold it and then guide it myself. I'm not an expert at this, but as you go, you kind of get a feel for it and then you start getting faster and you know what you're doing. One thing that, again, I mentioned is the weight of the gun. So this took me about like 5 hours-ish, and it took me that long because of the design I chose, partially because they say on average the regular or medium-sized rug should take 3.5 hours. Yeah, but my design was not simple. Also, it was new to me. But anyway, the gun has weight to it, and because of that, the way that I was holding it, which was the way you're supposed to hold it, but it rests on your thumb in 2 different spots, and one of those spots it hurt really bad, like sore, sorry. And throughout I had to take slight breaks because it is very heavy. It's not a demerit to me though, because I just understand like the weight of it, it's new for me, whatever. And I'm sure in the future when I want to do this more often, I'll have to, get a glove or something. But yes, very heavy. And sometimes like the thread will come out if you're not careful. If you pay attention as you're going, because the way that it's threaded into it, like some of it hangs out in the front, which is fine because it cuts off every piece when you stop. But sometimes you get in the zone, and especially at the beginning, some pieces would come out and would have to rethread it, and it was a little bit annoying. But for the most part, it was mostly at the beginning that happened, and then as I went, it was very rarely when it would come out again, unless I was switching a color. But overall, it was a very therapeutic experience to kind of, like, at the beginning, and you'll see some of the pictures of the beginning of the rug, it looks very rough. It looks like, oh, but as you went and started filling in colors and everything, and it started taking shape, it looked a lot better, and then you started to kind of see it come together towards the end. Very, very neat process. Would highly recommend if you are want to try something new, but like if you're an artist, to try a new creative outlet to see if you like it, because, which I'll get into at the end, I have a fun thing I've wanted to do, but now I know I want to do it in the future. But anywho, as we went through the rug, got towards the end, we went and told the trainee, or the person running the shop essentially, that hey, we're finished, and then they'll come over and check your rug. And they are checking your rug for gaps, because during the training at the beginning, they tell you how much spacing you should have. You shouldn't have it super close because it'll fold into each other, but you shouldn't have it so far apart that there's gaps. So you have to find like a happy medium of the lines, essentially. And she checked it. She'll fill the front to see if it feels full. Some spots did not feel full, so then I went back in and filled in those spots, and then a second time I went in and filled those spots. But once the 2 checks were done and she was like, yep, we're good, she took it off the frame, and then we brought it over to this table. I have no footage of this, I don't think, but essentially we so the monk's cloth, we took the edges and we cut them and then hot glued it to the rug itself to fold them in. And then once we did that, we took this gray backing that was essentially the rug backing. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping a step. We glued all the yarn hanging off bits in the back as well. Glued that down. Then we put the gray backing on top, which is the bottom of the rug essentially, with the non-slip, whatever. And then we hot glue that, cut it to to the shape of the rug. And then the trainee, the person, they'll come over with their razor clippers and shave it down, which is when it starts to, you actually really see the design cleaned up. I won't lie, and there's no shade to the person cutting. I think not that I could have done better, but I definitely have seen better, like a cleaner job. Again, they just work at this place, like they were all very sweet. But I know when I do this more often on my own, I'll definitely like want to cut it more cleanly, because I've seen people on YouTube. It is super clean how they cut it. Very even, very rounded, very soft. That's what I want to do. But again, this is like an amateur place, so I am not, no hate, I get it. So yeah, they cut it all down, and then the rug is complete. I have a picture of the rug I will put here, like in its full glory. I'll do like a side by side of the art and the rug after too. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend, especially if you have time on your hands, because it will take some time, especially if you're new. And then expect your hand might hurt depending on, you know, factors. But overall, it's just sore, nothing too crazy. But I would like to talk about my final thoughts of the experience, because I do have a not an announcement, no, like something I will do in the future. So like I said before, I would watch videos of people doing this, and on some of them they like gave, it was a tutorial, and it gave like the links where they bought their stuff, whatever. And it, after doing this, it definitely makes me want to do it now, like on my own. So when I move out, I definitely will buy a tufting gun, get the frame, get the cloth and the yarn, and start to make this myself. I think it would be super cool. I found it very therapeutic. Like I said, it's time consuming, but like putting on some music and just vibing out, and then just creating a rug for yourself or for others, I think is very cool. Because there's another way to like make my art into something else, like a different form besides like prints. And if I get really good at it, like heck, I would start selling it. Sure, I could do custom rugs, or like rugs of, you know, pre-made rugs or something, I don't know. But no, it was super fun, and it's not that inexpensive. Like the most expensive piece is the gun, which averaged like 200 to like 300-ish, but you usually buy it one time and then you just maintain it for quite a few years, I'm sure. So I'm definitely optimistic about that. So that will probably happen maybe next year. It really would depend on my finances, but I would like to at least start buying stuff next year to do it. And in my own place, I'll have the space to actually set up a little, not a studio, but set up like an area for it, essentially to store all the yarn and everything. But I am very excited about that. Again, highly recommend, if in your town, state, city, whatever, if there is a tufting place near you, I would recommend it. This one was called Fuzz Lab. I don't know if they're like, if this is a chain situation or if it's a local, I don't know. But I'm sure if you look up make your own rug or rug tufting near me or whatever, you'll find similar things in other places. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different video. Definitely different because it's IRL, but it's easy for me because the footage is already there. I don't have to make anything art-wise, besides this little talking sprite that I will use for the time being, since I can't figure out what to do. I do apologize for the lack of videos. One of the things that's changing is I used to stream on Twitch primarily, and then YouTube was the dual stream, but instead I'm done with Twitch. I'm gonna just do YouTube because I've got discouraged, and I've got to like one viewer. I can barely pull a viewer most of the time, and I'm just kind of over it. So I want to start the new year differently, so we're gonna try to do YouTube streaming only. Twitch is unfortunately making too many changes that are negatively affecting small streamers and big streamers too, but smaller ones especially. And at least YouTube is trying to compete, so that would in theory mean a lot of good stuff coming our way. So I'm gonna try this. I feel a lot better about it, so I'll take that as a good sign. And with that change means that I want to try to dedicate a stream day to making videos as a productive day. So hopefully that means I can pump out videos weekly or bi-weekly, you know, whatever the time frame is, but the consistent enough. So that's the other change I was going to mention. So that way I can be more consistent for you guys, and consistent for myself, because I like making videos. I just have to stop myself from getting discouraged and then stopping, or I can't come up with ideas. So I have a few friends of mine also like helping me out too, like with ideas. So hopefully next year will be a lot better. We shall see. Hopefully I can get monetized 2026, because what the heck. I was so close last time, and then I just couldn't due to things. But anyway, with that, I'm gonna cap off this video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll get this uploaded, I guess today actually, as I'm recording it. I might as well, just to kick myself back up there. But let me know how you feel about these type of videos. They will not be often, I'm sure, because I don't go out and do much of anything. But if you guys have, like, I guess ideas of things to do artistically in the world, sure, I'll be glad to hear it. But you will not see my face very often. I plan on my next video to be like a New Year's video, kind of some goals I want to set. Whether or not we'll make them, I don't know. But I will make them anyway, because we want to be optimistic for the year 2026, because the world is a bit sad. So we're trying to be positive as best we can. But with that, I'm out of here. Please take care. Comment, like, subscribe, all the things. My socials are always in the description of the video. Discord, of course, I'm trying to revamp it, so feel free to join. 18 plus only. But yeah, I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for the support and the patience. I'll talk to you guys next video. Bye, guys.